Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the library. It's a strange and fantastic day today because I have a guest and we are going to be just chatting and answering, questions and stuff from our Telonyms, which is like an app. It's a fun app. You just answer anonymous questions. Honestly, it's something I've always wanted to do. Is do like the anonymous user question thing. I even set up a Google form when I started streaming so that people could submit questions, but it turns out people don't like to fill out Google forms for random shit. So now we use Telenym. But anyway, let's welcome our guest. She's always in chat and now she's on the screen. It's KanaPeachTree.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
Hey, that's my question.
Oh.
But I'm doing great. As usual, it is the middle of the morning for me, but I had a good sleep and I almost had a good wake up. This time of year is really dry and the air is really dry, so I get nosebleeds a lot.
No.
Yeah, it happens. But that's okay. Sorry, I may have gone into the void there.
Oh, it's okay.
What were you saying?
I've already had a full day. It's the middle of the night for me. It's 12 a.m.
Oh, how was your day?
Not bad. Mostly cleaning and trying to relax.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, we were supposed to do a collab yesterday, but you haven't been feeling good, so I totally understand. Next time we'll get it for sure.
Oh, definitely. Our collabs are just cursed, that's all.
They're just very cursed. But today I've got my Telonym pulled up and we can get us some, let me just hide some of these audio sources so I can see that I'm talking. We can get some chats going, some questions happening. And okay, there we go. The software just glitched out for a second.
Yeah, I noticed they disappeared there.
I'm going to maybe ease my computer and stop streaming on Discord.
Yeah.
And then you can maybe, it's not gonna be any different than what's happening on stream. So, I've got this little boom boom marquee board up here, and we can type in questions. So do you want to go first? What's a question from your Telenym that we can both answer?
Oh, sure. I have a ton because I haven't been doing them lately.
Yeah, I've been trying to save them, and it turns out that now I just have like a couple dozen that I just haven't answered.
Yeah, I have a good one for begin with.
Oh, let's do it.
It's what's your dream job?
What's your dream job? Great question. Can I I'm gonna adjust this text. What is your dream job?
I'd have to think about that a little bit.
Oh, okay. I mean, come on, it's your question.
I know, I haven't answered it for a reason.
Oh, that's fair, that's fair. I guess for a long time I thought that my dream job would be just something that makes a lot of money, right?
That's fair.
I was always the type of person that was like, you know, time for working is now. We gotta get us some bread, and unfortunately that didn't really work out. I mean,
Oh.
I was always doing kind of like office work, but I didn't really have the drive to overperform and climb the corporate ladder and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Oop. There we go. Just messing with the lighting a little bit. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
So now I think almost my dream job would be something like maybe like 2 or 3 part-time jobs. Like if I could spend a little bit of time doing like accounting and maybe a little bit of time streaming, a little bit of time doing, I don't know, like maybe translation would be a fun job. And then I love working in kitchens. I don't know why, but I've just always had a good time whenever I have like a random kitchen job.
Are you the cook at home?
I am.
Oh, so am I.
Nice. I love cooking. Cooking's great. I'm trying to help us eat healthier. But you know, my wife has been very stressed because of school, so it's more like we eat like comfort food all the time right now.
Yeah.
You gotta adjust your diet to your lifestyle, right?
Mhm.
What do you like to cook?
I totally agree. We like to cook a lot of Asian food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have an Asian market where we live.
Oh no. How do you?
We don't get a lot of ingredients.
Yeah, I mean, how do you like even cook?
We went to a really big Asian grocery store that's like 8 hours away from us.
Oh yeah.
And like we bought a ton of stuff that we thought would last the year. It only lasted a few months.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so one of the wild things about being in Berlin is just how much international stuff there is. Like normally there's a grocery store right near us, so I go there, but I walked literally a block away to a little like market that said like Asian food and souvenirs. I'm like, what is this? I go there, and it is just like every Asian ingredient you could ever think of, and
Ooh.
all packed into this tiny little store. And by souvenirs, they really mean like knickknacks.
Oh yeah.
Not souvenirs at all. But it was really cool, and I'm trying to figure out how I can like go there and buy stuff there more often, because one of the things like you notice in cities is like stores like literally come and go all the time. So if you don't like support your store, it's just gonna go away. It's so sad.
Yeah.
So what's your dream job?
I think I want to be a cosplay photographer.
Oh, hey, that's really cool.
Yeah. I've always been fascinated in just photography in general.
Do you have any like big conventions where you live?
Not where I live. Again, everything's like an 8-hour drive.
That's Canada for you.
Yeah.
Big. But do you have any like friends who do cosplay?
Oh yeah, lots of friends who do cosplay.
That's cool. I wonder how easy it would be to do like a digital version of that job. Like obviously it would be best to have like you and the cosplayer and the camera all in one spot.
Yeah.
But I wonder if like if a cosplayer had like a camera, how much value you could add just by like being on the other side of the camera and kind of setting up the shot and telling them like how to pose and, oh, you're not in frame, and move this light that much and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That'd be cool though.
Maybe eventually.
Well,
I feel like a lot of people want to like have someone there to kind of show them how to pose and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard that most people have just like a few good angles and poses, and once you find them, you just have to like spam them all the time.
Yeah.
Yo, Inverse Delta, what's up? Welcome to the chill chatting stream.
Hello.
If you're in chat, you can also feel free to answer your question. We'll take it into chat as well. But yeah, my wife says that, I mean, she's doing like a degree in photography, which is so cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and one of the things that she says is that you kind of have to like start to see the angles and the lighting and the borders of the shot when you're taking the picture. Like we were on vacation in Salzburg, and I took a bunch of pictures and I showed them to her, and she's like, look how you've cut off the bottom of the statue completely. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't even looking at that. And yeah, I think that there's definitely like ways to like get better at photography even if you don't have a camera or a model or a whatever, right?
Absolutely. Like everyone has a phone.
That's true. Honestly, the cameras on phones are probably like
Nowadays they're insane.
they're better than most actual cameras.
Yeah.
Although my wife is like into like actual film development in a darkroom and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's kind of a hipster thing at this point because digital cameras are so good.
Yeah.
Like the resolution on film is almost like not quite as good because you have to chemically enhance it, and you get chemical effects based on the what you call it, expansion process, development expansion. I don't know. I'm just along for the ride.
It's okay.
It's a good question though. Shall I provide a question as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My question is almost the same. At least it has the first two words the same. The question is, what's your favorite date?
Date?
Date. And I'm not sure if this means like day of the year or like
Yeah, like
date you go on. It's my birthday.
like date, I would say Halloween because Halloween's the best.
Halloween, top tier holiday. Is that your favorite holiday?
It really is.
I mean, it makes sense if you're into cosplay. Like Halloween is basically like you're legally allowed to cosplay on that day.
Oh yeah, and the spookiness, it's amazing.
Do you like spooky stuff?
Yes, but not too spooky because I'm a wimp.
Okay, but there's a difference between spooky and scary, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I feel like spooky is almost like scary themed, right?
Yeah. We're talking like Hocus Pocus kind of spooky.
What about Pan's Labyrinth? Is that too spooky? Because I think
that one's spooky.
Okay, I think that's like a good line indication for people. Like, do you think Pan's Labyrinth is like fun and like spooky, or is it actually scary? Right?
Yeah.
Because it's got some weird stuff in there.
It's definitely weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that my favorite date is Christmas. If I had to pick one. Just because I have so much like traditions in my family about Christmas.
Yeah, you're the Christmas boy.
I love Christmas so much. I actually had the opportunity to eat like some of my family's traditional Polish food in last month, and it was so good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's so weird being so close to Poland. I grew up in America, and we always joked. So my dad was adopted by a Polish family, and we always joked that we were fake Polish because we had all these like Polish words and Polish traditions and Polish food, and we didn't know if we were actually Polish. But recently, my dad took one of those 23andMe tests. It turns out he's real Polish.
Nice.
So we're real Polish. But yeah, it's wild being like so close to Poland.
Yeah, I bet.
Do you have heritage outside of Canada?
Mostly like Ireland, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Ireland, I hear, is pretty sick.
I don't know much about my heritage.
Oh, that's okay. I think it is of different value to different people, you know?
Yeah.
But
what's your favorite date and like romantic?
Yeah, let's talk about what's my favorite romantic dates. And this I have to think about. I've gone on some good dates. I actually I think most people would say like, oh, it was the date that I proposed marriage on and it was perfect, right?
Aw, that's sweet.
I proposed in our living room, so.
Oh, that's still good.
We didn't want to make a big deal out of it.
It's perfectly valid.
My favorite date. Do you have an answer to this?
I feel like you can't go wrong with a movie then dinner.
Oh yeah, that's the way you're supposed to do it, right? It's never dinner and a movie. It's always better for movie and dinner because then you have something.
Yeah, because then you have exactly, you have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Whether it's a good movie or a bad movie.
Yeah. I can tell you my least favorite date that I've been on.
Oh.
It was freshman year of high school, homecoming. I had basically found a girl who I wasn't super interested in, and she wasn't super interested in me, but she was willing to make out with me, so we go. Yeah, you know, being a freshman in high school, right?
I also don't know what that means.
What? Make out?
Freshman? No, freshman.
Oh, do they not do what are
No.
what are the grades in Canada?
Our grades are like 9, 10, 11, 12.
Ah, okay. So in America,
I'm not sure which one it is.
in America,
Nor homecoming.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me explain.
Sorry.
Detour. Sorry, detour. It's okay. The years in America are also called 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, but more commonly they are referred to as freshman year, which is 9th grade, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year.
Okay.
And that actually carries on to college too. If you do a 4-year college, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. And homecoming is a thing that a lot of American schools do. It's like you have prom in the spring and you have homecoming in the fall/winter. So you have a big dance twice a year. And generally, only juniors and seniors are allowed to go to prom, but they're allowed to bring a sophomore or freshman if they're like dating or they have +1, whatever, right?
Okay.
But for homecoming, everybody's allowed to join, and usually there's a separate thing going on for alumni. So people who went to high school can come back and go to a football game or, you know, have a reunion sort of thing. And that's why it's called homecoming.
Okay.
So it's homecoming.
Yeah, we have like prom and that's it.
I don't know where the homecoming tradition started, but we had homecoming in high school and college, which is wild.
Anyways, your worst date.
yeah, it was pre-homecoming. We were we were all dressed up, right? Me and this girl who I didn't really have anything like in common with. And it was a few hours before homecoming started, and we went to get dinner, right? Like you do.
Mm-hmm.
And we just sat there and stared at each other and had zero to talk about. And I called my parents, hey, we are ready to be picked up. And they're like,
oh no.
We just got home. It's been a half an hour.
Wow.
Ready to go? We're like, yep.
Just no chemistry at all.
No, none whatsoever. I think we ended up just like chilling at a table, not even dancing, and just talking to our separate friends at the dance. It was horrible.
Oh man.
But I have to say, I've had lots of good dates since then. Oh, okay. Here's a good date. My wife and I went to a hockey game pretty early in our relationship, and we were chilling, and neither of us are too into sports, but we both grew up around hockey.
Yeah.
So we were chilling, watching the game, having a good time, and just the conversation, like we had only been seeing each other for about a month or so, but in my mind, I remember at that hockey day, I'd be like, yeah, I could marry this person.
Aww.
And that's how it happened.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Hockey games are pretty cool, actually. I don't like sports, but I've been to a few hockey games, and like they're really hype.
Yeah, I think,
Like the energy around you, like while they're playing, is insane.
absolutely. I know that hockey is more of like a national sport in Canada, but
Yeah.
in America, I grew up going to baseball games, and I think that's where I got turned off from sports, because baseball games are just so boring.
Yeah, I agree.
But hockey is good, and I've been told that soccer, or I guess here it's called football, is very similar to hockey in that kind of the energy is always on, and it's very similar. Like, your team tries to get the ball in the goal. It's just running
Yeah.
and kicking instead of skating and shooting.
Skating.
So I've been told I need to go to a football game here in Europe.
I could see it being different in Europe too.
Yeah, because they have like the club system, and so it's not.
Yeah.
It's never just like, oh yeah, it's this team versus that team, and this team is from this city, so everybody's here, and that team is from that city, so there's like a section, right? No, that's like the club is in. The club has turned out. It's our club versus their club, and they are that half of the stadium, and it's like huge, right? Huge energy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mags, welcome, and thank you for the hydrate.
Ooh, hydrate.
Hydrate or die straight. That's what they say.
Yep. Another good date idea. I think anything to do with the blanket fort.
Oh yeah, home dates.
Home dates are the best.
My wife and I do a weekly date night, and I guess if that counts, then yeah, absolutely. Because it's most of the time we just order food and watch anime.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Have we made a blanket for it? I think we did. I think we did do the blanket for it. It's actually, so a lot of, there's, in the US, and I'm assuming Canada, when you rent an apartment, you generally get, it comes with like a refrigerator and a stove.
Yeah.
But you provide your own like couches and chairs and TV and stuff, right?
Yeah.
In Europe, there's a bit more of a gap where if you rent an apartment, you choose furnished or unfurnished. And if it's furnished, it comes with pretty much everything, right? We even have some houseplants that we've kind of adopted.
Nice.
But if you choose unfurnished, then there's nothing, including kitchen appliances.
Wait, there's not even a stove or anything?
No stove, no dishwasher, no washing machine, no refrigerator.
So it's one or the other.
Yeah. It's because a lot of people see their stove or their fridge as part of their furniture.
Oh, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I've been in some apartments where like the fridge is kind of janky or the stove doesn't like cook right in a few
Yeah.
spots. So I would rather have the situation where I have my own kitchen appliances. But since we just moved over here, we picked furnished apartments because we didn't want to move our furniture overseas and just sell it.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah. So we haven't actually had our own couch cushions to build our own pillow
Aw.
forts for like a year and a half now. Sadness.
Yeah, when we build a pillow for your dog, it's all like out of sorts because she's like, "What are you doing to my living room?"
Yeah. I can't remember if we even had Blue when we built the pillow fort last time, but I'm sure he'd be the same way.
Yeah. We just put away our Christmas stuff. Have you done it yet?
Nope. But, okay, so I have a good reason. When we decorated for Christmas, it was just a little bit. It was just some. We have our furnished apartment came with these like generic IKEA pictures on the walls, and we decided to wrap them up like presents, so they look like they're presents hanging on the walls.
Aw, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, super cute. And unfortunately, since then, thesis time has been like crazy.
Oh, right.
So, unfortunately, we haven't really even had like an opportunity to get rid of the pictures. Or not get rid of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unwrap them. So they are still up, but I think that once the thesis is over, which is actually only in like a week or so, then we're going to
I wish them luck.
we're gonna have like a unwrapping day.
Make that a date night.
Yeah, and we'll get to discover all these like weird generic pictures again. What sort of Christmas decorations did you have up though?
We had a Yule log, which is probably my favorite decoration we have.
What does a Yule log involve?
It's just a log that you can put candles into.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it's just a piece of wood?
It's like a log.
Okay.
It's a Yule log.
I don't quite understand
Usually,
it, but it sounds...
usually when people talk about Yule logs, they're thinking of dessert.
Yeah, right? That's what I would think of.
Yeah. But we have like the traditional like pagan Yule log.
I kind of want to look up what a Yule log looks like, because I'm just picturing a piece of wood with candles in it.
You'll find all the baking ones. But if you look up like Yule log pagan.
Okay, yeah, it's mostly cakes. Oh, here we go. It's got like little pine cones and berries and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's aesthetic as heck.
We also dried up a bunch of oranges to tie up and hang up this year.
Ooh, I bet that makes your apartment smell. Well, are you in an apartment or a house?
We're in an apartment.
I bet that makes your apartment smell amazing.
Oh, it smelled really good, yeah.
We mostly use candles. Bacon log? Bacon log. What? I is this just going to turn into a food stream? What is a bacon
You always
log?
talk about food.
Yeah. A bacon log. Oh, it looks like it's very similar to the Yule log, actually. Just like a rolled up sheet of bacon with stuff inside of it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do you have another question?
Sure. Speaking of apartments, I guess. What's better, living alone or sharing an apartment?
My text is escaping.
No.
See if I can adjust it here. There we go. Almost. Living alone or sharing an apartment? Ooh, that's a good question. They both have their benefits.
Depends on how many people are sharing this apartment.
Very true. Very true.
That changes my answer.
Have you ever shared an apartment with like a lot of people before?
No, I was in a dorm, so it was a bit different than that.
Yeah, at least in a dorm you have your own space. Like you might have a roommate, but you have your own space, and the shared accommodations like the bathroom and the rec room or whatever are all built for multiple people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in an apartment, you kind of have to learn how to share the single bathroom.
Yeah.
I've had, let's see. Oh, okay. So this is probably my favorite apartment sharing story. I had an apartment that I was crashing in. It was my first summer away from my home. So my first year of college, I went home for summer. My second year of college, I had enough friends that I could crash on someone's couch for the summer when I was not in the dorms, and stay in the college town over summer, which was a great experience.
Nice. Yeah.
It was a summer of whirlwind romance.
Aww.
And tornado-like consequences.
Oh.
But I was crashing in this apartment, and it was a one-bedroom apartment. Let's start there. It was a one-bedroom apartment. My friend, his wife, and their one-year-old daughter were in the bedroom, and me and two other people were crashing in the living room.
My God.
And the best part of it was the other two people who were crashing in the living room were also had significant others, right? Who would like come over. So on multiple occasions, we had a full-on 8 people in this tiny apartment.
Oh my God. That sounds awful.
Yeah, I basically had a suitcase that acted as my square, and I had the suitcase. Everything I needed to live was just in that square.
Yeah.
But the funniest part of this tiny living arrangement was that of the 8 people living in the apartment, there were only 4 names. And there was a pair for each name.
Okay.
So, I mean, like changing names, obviously, but there was like 2 Jeffreys, 2 Marys, 2 Bills, 2 Lindas, right? Like,
Yeah.
It was 8 people with only 4 names among them.
That sounds so awful.
Yeah. Fortunately, as I said, it was a whirlwind summer, so I was actually crashing on other people's couches a lot of the time. So I didn't have to stay in there with the, you know, the 3 couples and the literal baby.
Yeah.
So that situation was rough. But I had a lot of other better apartment sharing experiences, especially once you find some people who are like on your wavelength, right? Chill,
Yeah.
willing to kind of like, you know, accommodate you, you accommodate them, right? You're weird in the same ways.
Yeah.
sharing an apartment is like fun as heck.
I feel like there's just something so different about sharing an apartment with like your significant other too.
Absolutely. Oh man. Have you watched the anime Bocchi the Rock yet?
Yes, I just recently finished that.
Nice. I just finished it yesterday.
It's so good.
It's so good. But I was looking at the subreddit for the anime, which is very into like the shipping angle on the anime. So yeah, not necessarily like the best subreddit I've seen for a series. But somebody was asking like, you know, I see a lot of people saying that they're fans of Kita and of Ryo, but not of the blonde girl, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're like, why is that? And somebody responded, and it's like, the reason is because that there are 2 kinds of, you know, introverted subredditors, introverted anime loving redditors who watch this type of show. There are the people who want someone like Kita to come along and lift them out of loneliness into kind of like socialness and relationships and stuff like that. And then there are people who want someone like Ryo because it's the closest you could get to living alone while still having like a partner or a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like my wife is definitely the latter. Like, we make sure to give each other a lot of space and a lot of time. We have different areas to work in and hang out in. We have shared spaces, but like, we definitely like, it's almost like living alone, except I have someone cool to talk to and share things with, and occasionally like watch anime with, right?
That's awesome. What kind of animes do you guys watch?
I think the biggest thing for us is just like the quality of the story. We don't stick to one particular genre too much. So we usually watch we try to watch like something good from whatever season is going on, and then we have this huge list of older anime that we're trying to get through that
Yeah, I feel that.
we've heard are good and we want to watch. And the nice thing is that we're actually kind of getting through them, because we do like the seasonal anime only comes out once a week, right?
Yeah.
But we like to watch something while we eat dinner together. And so having this huge backlog of anime, we actually kind of get through it pretty well. Because it's always like, oh, well, we just finished Bocchi the Rock yesterday, and now we like, what's next? What do we want to watch next?
Yeah, if you're watching at least an episode a day, that's still a lot.
Yeah, and you imagine if you have a couple seasonal shows, then you can watch 5 episodes a week, and then maybe you get through like a 12 episode core of anime in a couple weeks, right? That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Have you ever lived alone though?
Not really. Again, if you consider living in a dorm alone.
Did you have your own room in the dorm?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. We always had like a doubles, so roommates.
There were some of those, but we made sure I got my own room. I am also an only child, so
That's basically like living alone when you're younger.
yeah.
I've noticed that I have a weirdly high number of friends who are only children.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an oldest child, and I think oldest child and only child are pretty close.
They are, because I have 3 younger brothers now, so I was both.
Oh,
or am
nice.
both.
But I think they did a study where they kind of tried to locate the personality aspects that correspond to like first, middle, and youngest children, right?
Yeah.
And they found that only children and oldest children generally have the same personality traits if the oldest kid was an only child for a few years before they started having siblings. So it's like those first few years are kind of formative in terms of the type of personality traits that are correlated to your family order status.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I did actually live alone for a few months, and it was chill as heck. I liked it.
Like, I've house sat for a few weeks, but
Ooh. I've heard that I've heard fabled stories of people who have houses offering to let people kind of watch their house for weeks or even months while they go on like big vacations.
yeah, I did it for my grandparents a few summers in a row.
Oh, neat. I mean,
It was awesome. I got to watch their dog too, and she's a sweetheart.
aw, that's basically like living alone, I would think.
Yeah, like all I did was watch Netflix. It was during the summer, so I was
Nice.
still a teenager, and it was all good.
Yeah, might as well. Got a whole house to yourself, just, buy junk food and watch Netflix.
Pretty much. No one can tell you no.
Yeah.
A lot of freedom for a child.
I think there'd be a lot of teenagers who would get angry if you called them children.
Very true. My bad. I'm sorry.
But it's it's not like they're children. It's like they're adults with zero experience.
Yeah. I don't know if that's any better to say though.
Well, I think it is because part of being a child is kind of like um ignorance, right?
Yeah.
But another part of being a child is uh learning how to kind of move about in the world, right? You're taking your very first steps as a human, and when you kind of become a young adult, you have at least some methods to interact with the world and understand the things around you, uh, even if you have very little experience with the type of situations that you'll encounter in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think from the outside there's not a whole lot of difference, but I know for me, there was a point in time, I think it was in like late middle school, early high school, where I felt like I kind of became the person I am now, right? I kind of woke up or something like that.
But yeah, a lot of people talk about like that moment when you kind of just gain consciousness.
Mm-hmm. And then my life since then has been kind of continuous, right? I've been learning and growing and finding my path, and it's all been me. But I feel like
Yeah.
the person before that was almost a different person, right?
Yeah.
Did you have a moment like that?
I have to think. I have to think like far back probably. I feel like it happened before I was a teenager.
Hmm. That's what my wife says as well. She says she feels like she was um, like maybe I guess it would be like young middle school or
Yeah.
something like that. Although I think don't girls go through like puberty earlier than guys in
They
general?
they do.
Maybe it's part of puberty.
Maybe, I'm not sure. That makes it even more scary, wouldn't it, though? Like, not only all this stuff happens, but you also gain consciousness.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of a terrifying process in general.
Oh, it is.
You have to go through all this like physical changes, and at the same time, um, you are being asked to be more and more responsible.
Yeah. Oh god, I do not miss being a teenager.
What's what's the best part about being a teenager?
I miss having less responsibilities, I guess. I also miss seeing my friends all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like school is kind of, they just throw you together,
Yeah.
and it's like I made friends in high school and college almost out of exposure alone.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
um, and one of the things that I often hear people saying is that adulthood is lonely. But I think in adulthood, you just don't have those things where you throw people together, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually is why I really like these like VTuber collabs we've been doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like just meeting people, right? Just coming together and saying like, oh, hello, who are you? I've never seen you before. Let's go.
Yeah. Guess we should answer the question.
Should you live alone or share an apartment?
I'd say share an apartment. It depends on who you are. Like, if you can handle living alone, then live alone.
Yeah. I think for me,
I prefer sharing an apartment.
Yeah. I think I would prefer sharing an apartment too. Although as long as, you know, there's some ground rules, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
I had an apartment where there was one bathroom, like most apartments, right?
Yeah.
And my room was right next to the bathroom, which normally not a problem. But I had a roommate who had a habit of when he was using the bathroom, he would clear out his nose and throat.
Oh no.
Guy's got more mucus than most. I understand. But it was so loud. Like, God dang, right? Like, I feel like I needed to soundproof the bathroom. Actually, hey, here's a great pro tip for if you are looking to share an apartment with someone. Go to the apartment together, stand in opposite rooms, and yell.
Yeah, yep.
Test that sound dampening. My current apartment has great sound dampening. I was talking to my neighbor, and he's like, I have a treadmill. Do you ever hear my treadmill? And I'm like, do you ever hear me singing at the top of my lungs? And he's like, no. And I'm like, good. I don't hear the treadmill. We're good.
Yep. Yeah, same. Our walls are pretty thick. I'm lucky. My partner sleeps really, really soundly. It's hard to wake them up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're asleep right now.
Yep.
Sleep
Absolutely.
well,
Sleep well, Huffle. With Nori. Nori's sleeping with her.
Aw. Blue generally doesn't sleep with us. He's more of a, you know, I have my own space sort of guy.
I never really had cats that went to bed with us. We usually found them in the morning sleeping with us.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know that they like you.
It's true. I trained my partner's cat to be like a dog.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You can kind of teach them to be more affectionate, but I think if they grow up around other cats, or if they grow up just around humans, they'll generally be a little bit more aloof. All right, I've got another good question. This is actually a really
This is our what, fourth question?
Number 4. Dang, only like 15 minutes a question. Pretty good.
Yeah.
The question is, what do you like about life?
That's a loaded question.
Pretty broad.
Yeah. Hmm.
I recently watched The Sound of Music for the first time.
I've never seen it.
Ah, okay. I think it's got some dated elements to it, but it's a pretty good movie overall, and the music is excellent.
Okay. I've heard some of the songs.
Yeah. The song "These Are a Few of My Favorite Things." That's what I'm thinking of right now. I like making lists and crossing things off the lists, and then when I have a full page of crossed off things, I rewrite the list on a new page, but with only the remaining things. I really like that.
That sounds really satisfying.
I also like cooking.
Yeah, cooking's nice. Cooking's nice. I feel like music is a really good thing about life.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could talk about music. What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to almost anything. I'm not that picky.
Do you have an artist that you've been putting on repeat recently?
I always listen to Dodie.
Dodie?
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of this person.
Dodie Clark.
Dodie Clark.
She started on YouTube. I'm not sure if everyone knows who she is.
Dodie Clark. Oh. Doddle Oddle?
Yeah.
Cool. Oh. Hey. She did a Tiny Desk concert. I love the Tiny Desk concerts on NPR. Just like give me 15 minutes of live music. It's the perfect like bite-size amount.
Oh, definitely.
I've been listening to a lot of Kendrick Lamar recently. I love his music so much.
I haven't actually explored his music yet.
It's I guess you could say it's like difficult sometimes. Difficult music.
Yeah. I know of him.
But I mean, I feel like growing up in America, I had a kind of sheltered existence. I had the like suburban lifestyle, and we ran around and had a great time, and there weren't like drugs or guns everywhere yet. So seeing this person who has kind of been around as long as I have, talking about his experiences and his past and his life in America is just kind of like constantly gut punching to me. And it really challenges the way that I kind of see myself and the world and my position in it. I like that kind of music. I like music that makes me ponder.
Yeah, music that makes you think.
Hmm. Ooh, which is also why I like They Might Be Giants. They're probably my favorite band.
I don't think I've heard of them.
You've probably heard one of their songs.
Probably.
They do Istanbul is Constantinople, and they do Dr. Worm, and they do Birdhouse in Your Soul, and they do Particle Man, Particle Man. Nothing? No?
No, I don't know some of those.
Oh my god. Okay. Uh surely you know the Bare Naked Ladies.
Yes, yeah.
They're from Canada. They Might Be Giants is kind of like the Bare Naked Ladies, except their music is even weirder and nerdier.
Okay.
And it's great.
It sounds great already.
I have Dodie Clark pulled up. I'll listen to some Dodie Clark after the stream.
If you need any like song recommendations, I can give you some of my favorite ones.
Ooh, yeah. Do you have a top one?
Probably Secret for the Mad or Secret of the Mad?
Dodie Clark.
Secret for the Mad.
Secret for the Mad. Ooh, it's even got a video. Awesome.
Yep.
All right, I will start there.
What other things do you like about life?
I'm thinking. I like being able to change.
In Chow.
Well, I mean, as a chimera, obviously, I can.
Oh,
shapeshift.
yes.
But as a person, I like that I can decide to do something and then start doing it and then start getting better at it.
I like that perspective.
Yeah. Recently, I say recently as if it's not been like a majority of my streaming career, but recently I started writing raps.
Yeah.
like to those who have watched me while I'm streaming, I've probably been writing raps for as long as you've known me. But to
Yeah.
me, it's been recently. And when I started out, it felt like I was just vomiting all the ideas that I had thought of in my life onto the page. Like, I got about 30 days into trying my hand at writing a rap a day, and it felt like I had done everything that I had ever thought of, right?
Yeah.
My tank was completely empty. And so then I started to watch videos about how other people kind of put their words together and how they write raps. And I started to, instead of just vomiting whatever I thought was good, I started to kind of formulate a process that I thought was good. And I kept working on this process and I kept moving forward and kind of changing how I was doing it until it started to get a little stale, right? I had a process, but then, and I even, I think, written a few good things, but it started to get kind of samey, right? And so that's when I started to listen to more Kendrick Lamar. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to try to now learn his process, right? By studying his work. And now I feel like I'm at the point where I'm kind of merging his processes and my processes. And it feels like I'm kind of exploding into a whole new level of art, right?
Yeah.
It feels like I'm figuring out the way to not just express ideas that I have, but express them in a way that is grounded in a artistic process, and also has the historical or cultural grounding of a rapper that I really admire.
I can't wait to see where your rapping goes.
I know, me too. But it's so wild, because when you think about like wanting to do something, you think about it being, I don't even know, right? Like this huge thing, like there in your brain, you only know two kinds of rappers. You know, the needs more scotch tape, but it's decent. We're holding together by the skin of our teeth. But you only know like two kinds of rappers. You know, like bad rappers, and you count yourself among them. And you know, like the super famous, like ultra megastar rappers, right?
Yeah.
And you think like there's such this huge gap, and you're just like, okay, well, if I want to become a rapper, then I'm gonna have to start devoting like years to this, right? But I think the thing that ends up happening is that it's not, if you're focusing on improving, and if you're focusing on kind of like learning the craft and building up a cultural and process foundation for your work, it's not that long before you start doing stuff that is pretty good, right?
Kind of what I learned in school when I was trying to be an ECE, that's like early childhood educator. Mm-hmm. It's all about it's not about the product, but it's about the progress.
Yeah. I like to use the analogy of archery. Like even the best archers in the world don't hit the bullseye every time.
Yeah.
But by continuing to practice, they get closer to the bullseye every time, on average, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got bad shots. Everybody's got bad raps. Everybody's got bad days, right? But if you're continually trying to improve yourself, then your average keeps getting closer to what you're pursuing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I was so surprised because, I mean, really, I've only been writing lyrics for 6 or 7 months now.
Really? Only that long?
Yeah, I know, right? But it feels like it's been so long, and it feels like I've improved so much. Like I've got some stuff that I've written recently that will probably take a while before it's ready to release. But it definitely feels like it's on par with some of the, like, I don't know. Everybody knows that there is popular music that is just popular because it's like right place, right time, and like it's not like that deep, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to get to the point where I'm kind of on par with that. Speaking of archery, that one archer that shoots with their feet said, "Why be the best when you can be unique?" And I live by that. True. Although I have noticed that there is kind of like this minimum bar of quality where it's like you can make art and it can be good or bad or in between, right? But there does seem to be a tipping point where the layperson can't tell the difference between your art and like masterpiece professional art, right? Where you've got enough skill to look professional, even though the masterpiece artists are like, you know, working on a level that is like even beyond that. The layperson can't tell the difference. And I feel like that's kind of, I like to refer to it as the Skeb line.
Yeah.
Because I feel like on Skeb, there are all these artists who look professional and like people get art from them and it's like, dang, that is some good looking art. But, you know, I've never heard of the artist. I don't know, like it's the style is just kind of like anime style, right?
Yeah.
It's good, but if you set that next to like genre defining, game changing masterpiece drawings, would I be able to tell the difference? Maybe. Probably not. I feel like you can be unique, but you have to kind of be up to or close to that line so people kind of can say like, oh yeah, like this person has like value in their art, right? And it doesn't have to be visual art either. Like, for instance, the Zarkon, I think, is leagues above the line when it comes to like conversation and cool ideas for streams.
Oh, I agree.
But you know, the first thing that people see is usually the art. Sorry, I went on a huge rant there.
It's all good. I have a question.
Yeah. Hit me with a question.
So, at what point do you think you should invest money into like pursuing an art?
Ooh. So, when I was in college, I got a great analogy for this idea, because I took some jazz classes. And in the jazz classes, so I was doing a music composition degree. So I was literally taking jazz classes in order to learn how to write jazz. And I love jazz. Jazz is amazing. So I had a specific and, you know, actionable reason to be in the class, right? And I noticed that there were 3 categories of people in this jazz class. The first category was people like me who weren't necessarily going into jazz, but were in the jazz class for a specific reason. And usually it was education. They wanted to carry on the lineage of jazz. They wanted to teach their future students jazz. And so they were in the jazz classes to learn the language of jazz to carry it forward, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is definitely like the line. right? The line is when you have a specific thing that you want to spend money on and you know where you're going to take it and how you're going to use it in the future, like that's when you should start like spending money, I think.
Okay.
So for instance, in my own life, I use a lot of free software. I have not bought a whole lot of art for my streams, but I do have a really nice microphone because I know that no matter what I'm doing in my streaming career, I need this microphone to make music. And
What kind of microphone is it?
I think I actually wrote it down in my about section. It's it's Audio Technica microphone. It's sorry for the weird noises.
Oh, good.
It's a nice microphone. I'm not too into the like hardware side of things, but I have a setup that I know works, and I've invested money into the setup because I know that I'm going to need it. Right? I have a specific purpose for this.
Yeah.
The two other types of people in the jazz class, though, were people who I would say shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been spending money on a jazz class. The first type of person was probably like they didn't need to spend the money. They were already so good at jazz that they could have started their career. But they came to the school and spent the money to study with a specific teacher before they started their career, to make connections with a specific teacher and with other jazz people who are planning on going into jazz, right? And I think that's the type of person where it's like, you don't need to spend the money. You're making a choice to spend the money, but you could get the same experience by joining a jazz group and having a mentor instead of a teacher, and making like band connections instead of student connections, right?
Yeah.
I think if you are talented at something and you've worked really hard at it and grown that talent, education is kind of an afterthought. The most you'll get out of school is making connections in the industry, and you can make connections in the industry by joining the industry. So I think that a lot of people who go to art school are already good enough artists. They could start freelancing. It's almost better for them to go into like a short like business class or like a how to freelance course,
Yeah.
than try to go to art school for art. If you go to art school for art, then you're basically saying that I want to either like join the world of fine art, which is what my wife is trying to do, or I'm trying to teach art, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to be like a concept artist or a skeb artist or a Twitter artist or whatever, like literally just keep drawing.
Yeah.
The third type of people in the jazz class is the sad part of the jazz class. And it was people who didn't know what they wanted to do with their lives, but liked music and went into the jazz class because they felt like it was the closest thing to getting a jazz career, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that that is the type of person that shouldn't have been there. I mean, obviously they were there, and people make bad decisions all the time. But you're spending so much money on an education for something that you are like decent at, but maybe not the best at. And you're not sure if you want it to be your passion, your pursuit. It's just the thing that's closest. And I think that you can absolutely explore jazz or art or music without committing to spending money. There are so many good resources for free that you can use these days. Like, go on the internet and watch jazz people, right? Find a cool jazz solo that you like and transcribe it. Listen to, there are lectures from jazz professors online. You don't need to go to a college to get a lecture from a jazz professor, right?
Yeah, there's tons of resources for everything now.
Mm-hmm. So much, and all free. And actually, so here's an interesting topic. I think that this kind of internet knowledge availability is making people feel a lot more purpose-driven and unique. Because it's like in the old days, you might have like one person in your school that is like the piano kid or the art kid, right? And they get a scholarship and they go off to piano school or art school with all the other piano kids and art kids.
Yeah.
And everybody else just kind of goes to work at a warehouse or gets a communications degree and works in an office, right?
Yeah. Not anymore, though.
Not anymore, right? Now you don't have to go to school to get like an art degree. You can just be an artist, right? And
yeah.
I think one of the big barriers for people is this idea that if you're not good enough at something by the time you finish high school, you can't make a career out of it.
Which is totally not true.
Absolutely not true. Honestly, I think that now that there's kind of like the internet as the world stage, being 18 or 19 is not enough time at all for the average person to kind of come into their own, right?
Oh yeah, definitely not enough time.
Yeah. I mean, have you noticed like a lot of the really like prominent content creators are in their like late 20s, early 30s?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, almost like you have to go beyond the 18 to 19-year-old whatever in order to really stand out on the internet's world stage, right?
Yeah.
And if you are young, if you are still below that like late 20s, early 30s, then that means you still have time. You still have time to figure out your passion and pursue it. And god dang, if I can start writing raps that I'm excited about in just 6 months, like once you figure out what you want to do, you can push yourself and get past that skeb line pretty quickly.
it's mostly practice, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that the number of days you do something is more important than the number of hours you do something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think if you can commit yourself to doing something for a large number of days, then it is much more likely to stick as a habit and become growable than if you
Yeah,
try
that's the
to
thing. You want to make it like a habit.
yeah, then rather than trying to because I know that I have friends, my wife included, who's like, I just need to sit down and focus on my art for like 10 hours at a time, like all day, right? I want to have an art day.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. But if you're not in the mood or if you don't have the time to commit 10 hours to it, then that's a day that you're not doing art.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Practice and application. I try to do something on Blender at least once a day, even if it's just making a silly little thing. Yes. I think it's also good to accept that you're going to make bad art, right?
Oh, definitely.
Bad art.
No one's perfect right away.
Yeah, of course. And even good artists make bad art. You just don't see it because they recognize that it's below their usual and they don't show it to people. You have a big Blender learning folder. That's awesome. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think I need to go through and start to trim down some of my past learning folders. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it.
What you got in there?
Oh my gosh. So I did 100 days of TikTok raps, and that folder is 10 gigabytes.
Oh my goodness.
That's wild. I wonder if my current folder is bigger though. Blender wizardry folder. That's a good way to put it. What art are you into, Kana? I know you draw.
Yeah, I draw emotes sometimes.
That's cool. An emote would be a great thing to have like as a daily thing, you know?
Yeah.
Just working on getting expressions, facial expressions right, working on color and style, working on like a limited canvas, right?
Yeah, there's tons of characters I want to make emotes for too, so.
Nice.
Should probably do that.
Yeah. I'm
kind of like your wife, though. I do tend to sit down for hours and draw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm more of a big time frame, and then not doing it for a while.
I think that you can still do production intermittently if you are kind of like doing something related to it every day. Because
Yeah.
one of the things that is difficult for my wife, because she is trying to do this like work on things every day sort of thing, and I mean her thesis paper is done, so it works.
Yeah.
But for her, like, time in the darkroom is scarce, right? she has to schedule it, and then she can only do it a certain amount of time because they hold classes in the dark room, and she has like classes herself, right? So she really does only get like 1 day a week in the dark room. But when she's not in the dark room, she is planning what she's going to be doing in the dark room. Since her time there is so limited and important, she is like making sure that she has all of her chemicals and preparing the film negatives that she's going to be using. Or
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is use too much time up while you're there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a very similar thing about in music about studio recording time. Like getting studio recording time is a huge investment, but they say you don't want to write your songs in the studio because
no.
yeah, the studio, like you could spend like thousands of dollars a day just being in the studio, and you want to go in and you want to have practiced and you want to be prepared and your songs are all ready to go.
Yeah, like you don't want to go in unprepared.
Yeah, I've heard musicians who are like very good musicians say that they don't bother practicing for live shows, but they practice a lot for studio time.
Yeah.
So I think like even if you have like big days where you're making art, like okay, today's my art day, 10 hours, I'm gonna jam, right? Crank up the tunes, turn on the Photoshop and dig into it, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're doing that, you should kind of be thinking like on your off days, what can I do to make sure that my big jam is the best it can possibly be, right?
Yeah.
Like I imagine for emotes, you could be like saving emotes that you like, or finding like brushes or stuff like that. I don't know. I'm still a baby when it comes to GIMP and Photoshop.
It's okay.
I just recently learned that you can, if you have text, you can outline the text on a different layer and then manipulate the outline separately. And I was like, wow, that's actually how I made the, I made a Twitter picture for this, and it's got like this cool neon effect. And I'm like watching this video tutorial and my mind is like defragmenting because I'm like, holy smokes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, GIMP's pretty cool actually.
I really like it. I've been using what is it? Microsoft Paint 3D for so long. And I mean, it does what I need it to do for the most part. But I can definitely already tell that even though I have to like watch a video tutorial every time I use GIMP, the ceiling is so much higher. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, there's so much to do in it.
Absolutely. That's what I like about life. I like sharing knowledge.
Yeah, you're good at sharing knowledge.
I think in another life I could have been a teacher.
Did you ever want to be a teacher?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, over the course of my life, I have constantly felt drawn to mentorship positions and being a mentor or being mentored. Like I was in Boy Scouts, and I constantly was like being put in charge of things. I was in a fraternity in college, And I was,
Oh, really?
yeah, I was like on committees, and I eventually got like elected to a position. And I was the director of a improv acting theater troupe in college too.
That's amazing.
And now that I'm like out of college, I'm like trying to start like friend groups and collabs and even small businesses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I feel like I could have been like this teacher, right?
Yeah.
I actually had a teacher tell me that one of the things that I like to do is I like to learn something from square one multiple times. Especially, let me say, this is a very valuable thing to do when you're learning a language, because the first thing they teach you in a language is the most basic and common stuff. Like I would like to believe that I came to Germany and I'm like having great conversations and talking about like, you know, high concept material. But no, most of the conversations I have are, hello, have a nice day, credit card,
Yeah.
please.
That makes sense because, well, you don't really have huge conversations on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. And going back to square one and learning that stuff has the dual purpose of reinforcing it, obviously, but also teaching it to you in a different way. Like there are so many different ways to learn language, and I think it's because people learn differently, right?
Yeah.
And I really like getting multiple perspectives on a body of knowledge. And I had a teacher of mine tell me that that would make me a good teacher because people learn differently. And if I had learned something a lot of different ways, then I could teach it in a lot of different ways.
So how do you learn? Like, what is the best way to teach you something? So I personally am a visual learner, so I kind of have to either watch someone do it or do it myself.
I'm definitely a do-it-myself sort of person. What is the way of Isaac? When I when I learn software, whether it's GIMP or Ableton or OBS or whatever, I will pull up the tutorial and then I will try to do exactly what that person is doing while they're doing it. And usually that lets me remember it really well and kind of step through it again in my mind. I've found that I have a very good spatial memory. So
Yeah, I think you were saying that during one of your Minecraft streams.
yeah. So if I realized pretty early on that one of the best ways for me to remember to do something is think about where I would be when I needed to remember that thing and imagine myself thinking of that thing in that spot. So like if I needed to take a particular form with me when I'm leaving the house, I would imagine myself at the door, opening the door, and I would think about the form, right? And then if I happen to forget the form, when I open the door, my memory would be like, and now we think about the form. And I'm like, the form. So that kind of spatial memory actually seems to translate into software as well. So if I go through and spatially kind of follow someone along doing something, then I'll generally remember the physical locations in the software that I did those things, and then I'll remember that process.
When did you figure out that you had good spatial awareness?
I think there's a difference between spatial awareness and spatial.
Oh, sorry.
memory.
Yes. It's different.
Well, I think I figured it out when I was at my first job, because I worked at Wendy's. I was born at a very young age. I worked at Wendy's and I was on the cash register. And back in the day, they had people at the cash registers, and but they had this janky old touchscreen software, and it was like there was a menu that had like drinks and combos and fries and sides, right? And you click on it, and then there's like a whole nother menu inside it, and then you click on that, and there's a whole nother menu inside that. And then like if you had a combo, you click through all these menus over and over again, right? And I picked it up really quickly. And I think when I started training other people, because even at Wendy's, I was like a mentor. When I started training other people and they were like struggling to remember where all the buttons were, I'm like, oh, maybe I have a good memory in that way. But yeah, spatial awareness is a bit of a different thing. Like,
yeah, it's a bit different.
I can solve Rubik's cubes because I remember the specific like paths to take, the specific algorithm to turn it, but I can't just look at a Rubik's cube and solve it without the algorithm.
Yeah.
Even though I think the professionals use just a lot of algorithms.
I've never once finished a Rubik's cube.
There's a method to it, but it definitely does require that kind of like spatial thought. How do you learn things best?
Usually through either watching someone do it or doing it myself.
Oh yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
What's something you've learned recently?
I have to think about that.
I feel like I constantly have tons of goals. And so for me, learning to do things is kind of like an everyday thing. Like I'm learning GIMP, I'm learning Ableton, I'm learning German, I'm learning Japanese, I'm learning how to meditate. I'm learning constantly. Definitely learn better through hands-on, better retention there for me. Yeah, so Magallion, does hands-on translate to like software as well? Like, do you find that you're able to learn hands-on even through software? Good question.
I find that I have to like watch a video and then do it myself. So yeah, it's definitely through software.
There's some amazing videos out there. I was talking to one of my friends who's a teacher, and she was lamenting that like her students had to, well, she's just like starting out as a teacher, and she was lamenting that her students had to kind of like learn from her instead of the guy who had been teaching the class for years, right? And I'm like, well, first of all, that's very self-depreciating.
Yeah.
But second, like, I'm sure that even though that guy has been teaching that class for years, like, he's also not the best teacher in the world, right?
Yeah, no one's perfect.
Yeah, you are just one step on these kids' education, right? So, yeah. But it reminded me of a video I saw where this kid basically made the case of how he would improve the school system. And it was an incredibly compelling argument. And it actually, like, I still feel like this is the true way. He said, like, right now on YouTube, there are videos that are produced by professional film and content creators, right? To be engaging and informative and structured, right?
Yeah.
And you could even say that that's true for non-video content. Like, look at Khan Academy, right? Or what's that one? ShareSpace, or whatever the one that people always talk about on advertisements. Skillshare.
Yeah, Skillshare.
Like, this is not like, thank you. thank you, Meg. You got it too. This is not like, you know, your random teacher who couldn't have a physics career going into teaching physics for high school and reading out of a textbook that might not be fully up to date. This is someone who is like making content for the world. And so it's well researched, it's well put together, it's a strong educational piece of content, right?
Yeah, and usually the people are professional in their field too.
Yeah. How can you compete? The kids' argument was you shouldn't try to compete. Rather, there are things that teachers can do that those video recordings can't. And that is mentorship. And that is, you know, explaining things to people who don't understand them right away, right? Extra focus and attention on people who struggle, right? The video...
Yeah, I'd say, like, you need to focus on the social aspect of school then.
Absolutely. The video is for mass audience. And yeah, everybody needs to learn the stuff in the book, in the video, in the whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the teacher shouldn't be responsible for the presentation of the content, right? When somebody has already made this presentation and made it public and easily available, like, how cool would it be if instead of like reading from a biology textbook, your teacher every day would spend the first half of class watching like a 15-minute biology video, professionally produced, engaging, focused on a specific topic. And then the second half of class was time for people to do their homework or come to the teacher with questions, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, how much better would that be? It would be crazy better. And that's not even getting into the fact that like curriculums are out of date and textbooks are out of date.
Oh, no kidding.
And teachers are like overworked and underpaid and super stressed out, right? You know, most people become teachers not because they want to teach a particular thing. They become teachers because they want to help kids learn. And if you make their job just about that, then it's like so much more impactful.
Yeah, because then the teachers are actually trying.
Yeah. And you don't have to, I think one of the things that happens at a college level is the professors are like, well, if I just show my students this video, then what are they paying for? What about my expertise? What about my job? I'm going to be replaced by a video, right?
Yeah.
But the secret truth is there are like two kinds of professors: those that are already sort of being replaced by the textbook and just reading the textbook out loud in class, and those that actually provide like personal interaction and support for their students. And those teachers would do better if they didn't have to read out of the textbook for a majority of their class, right?
Some of my favorite classes I had amazing teachers because you could like remember their lectures without having to read the book.
Yeah. I attribute a lot of my love for math to one pre-calc teacher who knew how to lecture and deliver information and make each class feel like it was the next step on like an adventure to uncover the secrets of how the world works. And it's like
as long as you make it entertaining.
Yeah, it was pre-calc. And like nobody likes pre-calc, but this dude was a good teacher, like just straight up and down. And pre-calc became my favorite class that semester, and math became one of my favorite subjects.
Yeah, some teachers really make subjects like tolerable.
Yeah, not just tolerable, but exciting. And that's what I think, like, if you're a teacher who isn't one of those rare few, right, wouldn't you be better off having someone like, you know, the guy from Khan Academy or Kurzgesagt or like someone who really knows and cares and delivers and makes it entertaining and makes it fascinating to talk about and think about? Wouldn't you be better off having that person do the lecture part and then you get to basically like geek out with your students and help those who don't understand kind of get a different perspective, right?
Yeah, like do the fun part of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't think of anything that I've learned recently.
You recently learned more ways to put together big charity events, right?
Yeah.
You recently
I learned that taking a break is okay.
Taking a break is absolutely okay. Today you learned about video.ninja.
Yeah. We went to the dog park with Nori for like the second time.
Oh, cool.
And I never noticed how much she sticks around us no matter what dogs are around.
Oh, interesting. She's a little
shy. She won't leave our sides.
Aw.
He is a pandemic dog, so
Oh, true.
She did get socialized a little bit with my mom's dogs when we were living in their basement, but that was when she was like really young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Blue's kind of the same way. uh, he grew up in the wild,
Yeah.
so he had a lot of interaction with other cats. But by the time we got him, he had been living alone for so long that he kind of gets like weird and grumpy around other animals. So
Well, that makes sense, though.
yeah, I think he's an only cat,
Yeah.
which is okay by me because my wife's dream pets are a dog and a cat that are best friends, and we can't afford a second pet right now, but hopefully by the time that Blue is getting older, we'll have some more money and we can take care of his aftercare stuff and then look at expanding our pet library.
How old is Blue now?
Blue is, I think he's turning 9 this year.
Oh, wow. I thought he was much younger than that.
He looks good for his age.
Yeah, he really does.
But I hear cats can live quite a while, so.
Oh, they can, yeah. They could go up to like 19, if not more.
I think so. I thought I saw like the oldest cat alive was like 23 or 24 right now.
Yeah. We're planning to get another maybe dog when Nori grows up a little bit more.
Oh yeah?
Because Nori's just so good with other dogs, and she's lonely when we're not home, so...
Yeah. When I was growing up, we had a only dog. And when we got our second dog, they bonded really well. But after our first dog passed away, we felt like we had to get another dog because the second dog was so lonely.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know Huffle really wants a snake.
Ooh, yeah. I've had friends with snakes before, and they're a pretty easy pet to have with other pets because they have the cages or the aquarium.
I just can't stomach feeding them.
Oh, yeah, you do have to do that.
Yeah, it would be Huffle's job.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of litter box cleaning. I grew up with dogs, so I'm okay with like going on walks and picking up poop, but my
litter boxes are different.
Yeah, my wife does all the litter box stuff.
I made Huffle do that when we had a cat too. It's like the smell of the litter that I can't stand.
Yeah, it's like here's something funny. When I was in college, I had a friend who I would go over to his house to play D&D, right?
Yeah.
And there was always like a certain like atmosphere, a certain smell about the house, right? And I came to associate that with like RPGs, right? Like, I smell my friend's house. It's time to role play. Well, I turned out later it was because he had 3 cats, and the litter box smell was just so strong that you could smell it throughout the entire apartment. And so when we finally got our litter box, I was like, this smell is strangely familiar and comforting to me.
Do we want to move on to another question?
Yeah, I think we talked a lot about what we like about life. So much. Do you have a question from your telling them?
I didn't have anything ready. Hold on. Have you ever done anything dangerous?
Yes.
Yes?
Do I have to specify?
No, you don't have to, I guess.
Probably the most like explicitly dangerous thing that I did was I was in Boy Scouts, and it was in the middle of winter, and we were going camping because Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
And we were playing the incredibly idiotic game of let's kick the log around on the frozen lake.
Oh no.
And the log went out a little too far, and I went out to get it. And I did not. Well, the ice was pretty thick where we were standing, but I didn't think about the fact that as you go further out, the water's deeper, so the ice, it like retains more heat, so the ice is thinner. And I actually fell through the ice.
Oh god.
Yeah. Fortunately, like I said, the ice was pretty thick. I wasn't too far from thick ice. So I was able to remember to pull myself up and spread. You're supposed to pull yourself up and spread yourself out so that your body weight is like as spread out as possible. And then crawl back to the shore. So I did that, and I survived. But
obviously.
as I said, it was the middle of winter, so it was cold and snowy.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I was wearing all of my warmest clothes. So for the rest of the weekend, I had to wear my sleep clothes, which consisted of a jacket or like a hoodie and sweatpants that I had gotten when I was on my school's swim team.
Oh.
So I took a dip, and then I was forced to wear my swim team sweatpants for the rest of the weekend.
Nice.
That's probably the most dangerous thing that's ever happened to me. I don't really.
I guess really, fortunately or unfortunately, don't have a story for anything dangerous. I've never broken a bone, even.
Me neither. Yeah, I'm not really a thrill seeker. Thin ice aside.
Yeah.
But I do like roller coasters.
Roller coasters are fun.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of heights, but it's roller coaster is like you're strapped in, you're on a track. It's different, you know?
Yeah. I don't like wooden roller coasters because I find they like shake you around too much.
Oh man. So I know you're from Canada, but have you ever been on the Beast in Ohio?
No, I've never even been to Ohio.
You've never been to Ohio? Okay. I have.
No.
I have lived in Ohio, and I've survived somehow. The Beast is the world's longest wooden roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
And it like weaves through the forest, and it's like shaking and rattling the entire time. It is.
Yeah.
It is a trip, and it is like if you think about a roller coaster ride, they're fast and exciting, but they usually only take like under a minute, right?
Yeah.
The Beast goes for like 3 minutes.
Holy.
It's long and like crazy cool.
I find those roller coasters give me like really bad headaches.
Yeah. Actually, the same place that has the Beast, Kings Island, they tried to do the Son of the Beast, which they said was the first wooden roller coaster with a loop.
Oh.
But it turns out that there were a ton of problems with like the construction of it, and people were actually getting shooken around so much that they were getting like whiplash and concussions and stuff.
Oh,
like that.
really?
Yeah. So they took out the loop in order to like lighten the carts, because they needed the carts to be heavy enough to go through the loop. But
Yeah.
the heaviness of the carts was causing excess shaking or something like that. So they lightened the carts, but it was still not working. So they ended up just shutting it down.
Aw, that sucks.
Yeah, there's actually a Defunct Land video about the Son of the Beast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is crazy because that happened like while I was growing up in Ohio. So it's like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that on the news. I remember like seeing them like unveiling the Son of the Beast. And now it's like a part of, you know, roller coaster history, I guess.
Yeah.
The Zarkon says, one time I tried to out Pizza the Hut. Tried to eat a lot of pizza at Pizza Hut.
How much pizza can you eat in one sitting?
You know, my answer now is probably less than it was when I was a teenager.
Yeah, same.
But I think I could probably eat like a medium pizza by myself. So like a 10 to 12 incher.
Yeah.
What's
I
the,
used to be able to eat like a whole pizza. Now I can
Yeah.
only eat about half.
I like back in the day, you just get like one large pizza per kid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's like hardly any leftovers.
Yeah, because everyone eats their own pizza.
My brother was very athletic, and he would be eating constantly, and his favorite thing to eat was cereal. And we joked that he would have like 4 or 5 bowls of cereal a day, just like
Yeah.
in the morning, when he got home from school, after dinner, before bed. Maybe make it a double if he was really hungry.
What's your favorite cereal?
Oh man. There's a lot of good ones, but probably like Honey Smacks.
What are those?
Oh no, Cinnamon Life. Cinnamon Life.
What's Cinnamon Life? I'm just gonna look them up.
Yeah, okay. So Cinnamon Life is like there's Life cereal, which is like a sort of like a little pressed grain.
They're whole grain?
Yeah, like a pressed grain cracker sort of cereal. And Cinnamon Life is that, but with cinnamon. And it's so good. The best part about Life cereal, and this is, you know that I'm like a texture person. The best part, the best part about Life cereal is that it's hollow on the inside. So you get this little kind of milk pocket. And
Oh, okay.
and it's also got grids. So sometimes you'll get a piece of Life cereal that only has half a milk pocket. And so you just get this perfect combination of like squishy and crunchy and liquid, all in like, so good. I would actually.
So you're a milk and cereal kind of guy?
Is that not normal?
No, I don't use milk with my cereal.
Oh, I see. Dry cereal. Okay.
Dry cereal is where it's at for me.
I thought you were going to say like, yeah, I use water.
No, God, no. I like Cheerios. I'm basic.
Cheerios is your favorite cereal?
I love Cheerios.
They're very, very good.
They really are.
Do you like the different flavors or just normal Cheerios?
It's like just like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Okay, I like Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say like the plain Cheerios are usually like a last resort for me, but Honey Nut Cheerios are legit good.
Oh yeah.
Dry Fruit Loops is a hellalicious snack. Yeah, like
Dry Fruit Loops, yes.
imagine like being a kid and getting a Ziploc bag of just Fruit Loops. That was the thing. That was the thing for me, though. I never really went for the sweet cereals, only the savory cereals. Like, I didn't like Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms or Cocoa Krispies or Cocoa whatever.
Would you say you have a sweet tooth or no then?
Not really.
Okay, me neither.
The leftover sugar in the bottom of the bag and it looks like you have an illicit substance. Yeah, it's like rainbow cocaine.
Yes.
The sweet things that I like most are usually like super dark chocolate. So I actually like the bitterness more than the sweetness.
Yeah. I have like this special K cereal that's like dark chocolate and almond right now.
Ooh, nice. Almonds are excellent too. Almonds and walnuts. I eat them right out of the bag.
Oh yeah.
So good. So I went to this European city, and I'm not there right now, so I can say the name. It's called Bratislava. And in Bratislava, which I think is in Bratislava is in. I'm not a robot, Google. What the heck? Bratislava is in Slovakia. In Bratislava, oh my God, there's even a picture of it on the Wikipedia page. There is a chocolate cafe. And this chocolate cafe is like pure chocolate. Like anything you want that's chocolate oriented, they have it here, just like straight up. But the cool thing is, so my wife is kind of like sensitive to chocolate, so she can't have it. But she can have white chocolate because it doesn't have cocoa in it. And so this is the only place we found where they serve hot white chocolate.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we went there and the menu is like hot chocolate, hot white chocolate. My wife orders that. And then there's like hot dark chocolate. I'm like,
ooh,
well, that's for me.
That sounds great.
And so I got it. And I have to say, it was too dark for me.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't know if it was because it was like the liquidness of it or the heat of it or just the darkness of it, but it was so bitter, it was almost sour. And it was like insane. Like, I enjoyed it, but it was maybe like a once in a lifetime sort of thing. It was so bitter.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of white chocolate.
No, I've grown to like it because it's the only chocolate we can have in the house. Otherwise, my wife just gets very upset that I'm eating chocolate without her.
What are your opinions on orange chocolate?
It's all right. I'm not really a big fan of like the fruit plus sweet thing, except for chocolate covered strawberries.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's just like the perfect combination. And anything
it really
else,
is.
Anything else just doesn't line up. What's the like the biggest meal you've ever ordered?
Ordered?
Yeah. Like at a restaurant, like They bring it out and you're just like, this is massive.
Probably like a all-you-can-eat sushi place.
Wait, you have an all-you-can-eat sushi place?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And we used to go when we were teenagers, so
Oh boy. Nope.
the amount of sushi that would be on our table was kind of outrageous.
How do they do that? It's like, because sushi is kind of like made to order, right?
Yeah, so we used to get a piece of paper and we just jot down what we wanted. And then they moved to tablets, so you just kind of click on the tablet, say I want like one of these, and then you say call server, and then they bring over the food.
How much would it cost to like get all you can eat sushi?
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna say.
It's like $50 a person.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
But still, that's got to be a cool experience.
It's the only sushi place we have in town.
Wow, that's quite a statement to be the only sushi place in town and just go full hog.
We had another, like we used to have a second sushi buffet place. So we had 2 all-you-can-eat sushi places.
That's amazing. I've never even seen an all-you-can-eat sushi place. We mostly had all-you-can-eat Chinese buffets.
Yeah, we have one of those too.
Yeah, those are really common in the States, which is kind of sad because I haven't really been to anywhere that has American-style Chinese food in Berlin. They just have Chinese food.
Yeah, you'd have like real Chinese food, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But there's a certain quality to American Chinese food. Like,
oh yeah, there's like a certain charm.
yeah. Plus there's like General Tso's chicken, which is my favorite. But fortunately, we have found that there is Asian-themed fried chicken. We just have to get Korean fried chicken. And
oh yes, Korean fried chicken is so good.
So good. Oh my god. And there's a place right near us that's so delicious. Even if they don't deliver all the time, they are the best.
I wish we had a Korean place in town.
Yeah, I feel very spoiled on restaurants. Living in a huge international city like Berlin. I think the most food I've ever ordered was well, do we want to do it by like volume or density? Because density, I would say the most food I've ever ordered was like a full rack of ribs plus sides. I got
nice.
I think it was in Tennessee. Like it was a southern barbecue sort of place, and they had like, we have the big portion, and I'm like, I'm hungry.
Yeah,
I'll have the big portion. And I was not prepared for how big the big portion was. But by volume, I mean, and this is also like stereotypically American, but I have gotten huge amounts of popcorn at the movies.
Oh.
Like that's
I used to work at a movie theater, so I remember seeing how much popcorn they actually throw out at the end of the night, and it's insane.
Yeah, like people are not joking when they say like you get a like bucket or a shopping bag of popcorn. It is like no joke.
Oh yeah, you can just go home with like trash bags of popcorn if you wanted.
For real.
Because they're just gonna throw it out anyway.
When I was working in a restaurant in Ohio, it was a chicken restaurant, and we were right next to a college campus. So on Fridays and Saturdays, we would be open until 4 a.m. And it was like from 10 to 4, line out the door busy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Just 6 hours of constant activity, making chicken, making fries, just like
Yeah.
completely slammed every single weekend. And so we had to keep the chicken like totally full in order to keep up with the demand, right? We had to like absolutely have constantly chicken all the time. So at the end of the night, when they finally like said, this is the end of the line, no more people can come in, we would still have a ton of chicken. And so what we would do is we would all like take a half-hour break to like de-stress, and everybody would just load up on chicken and eat a bunch of chicken and then clean until 6 a.m. And then we would all go home and collapse. And then the morning shift would come in just a couple hours later.
Yeah.
Can't believe I used to do that. And now I go to sleep at 9 and get up at 5.
You get up at, yeah. I used to work at a grocery store overnight to do like online orders.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool to be there like all by yourself, but it's also like super creepy.
Oh, like the grocery store was closed, but you were just setting up online orders?
Yeah, pretty much. Like you just go down the aisles and grab the stuff.
That sounds like an amazing job, actually.
It was pretty nice. I wasn't used to the schedule though, because it was like complete overnight shifts.
Oh, legit.
So you'd start at like 11 p.m. and then be done by the time the store opened in the morning.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't do that, I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't stay there very long. I got burnt out of it very fast.
Mm-hmm. Working a night shift in an office was one of the worst work experience I ever had, to be honest. Ooh, I can definitely talk about a worst work experience I've ever had. I spent a summer with a moving company, and it was pretty challenging physically. Like, get up at 7 a.m., drive to the company, get on a truck, drive to the house that we were moving, and then just lift heavy objects for anywhere from like 4 to 8 hours, and then be exhausted and drive home. But that was not the bad part of the job, actually. The bad part of the job was that every evening you had to call in to the company and see if you were working the next day.
So you never had a schedule?
There was no schedule. You literally just called every night, and whether or not you were on the schedule determined, first of all, whether or not you were paid, but also whether the next day was going to be, 8 hours of manual labor or completely empty.
Awful.
Yeah, so I couldn't plan anything.
Yeah.
I had one day off a week that I had requested, and I had to make all my concrete long-term plans for that day. And everything else was just like, oh, I'll be there if I can make it.
Yeah.
I never want to do a schedule like that again. It's awful.
No,
awful,
those
awful.
schedules sound awful.
Was the night shift though the worst work experience that you've ever had?
I'd say probably, just because of how sick I got because of it.
Oh, yeah. Destroying
Because like your body is used to being awake during daylight, right?
Yeah.
So when you literally go to work for the entire night and then you like go home to sleep and there's light out, it's really hard to just pass out.
Absolutely. I think you like eventually you can get used to it, but it is not a stable condition.
No, it's not.
I was reading about different kinds of sleep schedules. And obviously there's like the 8 hours a night, right? But there's and they call this like the college kid sleep schedule or something like that.
Yeah.
But you can settle into a good circadian rhythm if you do 4 hours of sleep a night and a 1 hour nap that is 10 to 12 hours after you wake up from your 4 hours of sleep. So like it's not as stable as getting 8 hours a night, but it is a rhythm that you can sustain, right?
Yeah, I imagine starting it would probably be the hardest part.
Yeah, if you starting it is hard, and then if you miss a nap, then it takes like a couple days to recover.
Yeah.
But they were talking about the reason that it works is because of humans have this kind of cycle of waking periods, right? So you kind of have cycles of energy that are about 4 hours long. And so essentially, if after you wake up, you go 3 waking cycles and then you take a nap, you kind of kickstart your circadian rhythm for the rest of the day, and you can go another 3 cycles before you have to sleep.
Makes sense.
Or another 2 cycles, sorry, before you have to sleep. And at that point,
Yeah.
you can go to sleep for 4 hours and start the process over again. So like 8 hours of sleep gives you 4 or 5 cycles, but 4 hours of sleep only gives you 3 cycles. So you need that nap to reinvigorate your waking cycles, right?
Yeah.
So they talked about this extremely unstable sleep cycle where essentially you do 1.5 wake cycles and then you do a half-hour nap to just kickstart yourself back up into 1.5 wake cycle. And so essentially you only need 2 hours of sleep a day, but you are just taking 4 30-minute naps over the course of the day. And each time you're kickstarting yourself into another 1.5 waking cycles.
Have you ever tried that?
No. And they say it's really, really difficult for a few reasons. Because first off, you're sleeping during the day, which again is not what your body is used to.
Yeah.
Second, because of the way the cycles are, it's really hard to start. Like it takes weeks to get into this cycle. And then if you miss a nap, or even if you mistime a nap, then it takes even more weeks to get back into the sleep cycle.
Yeah, I could see that being, like I said, hard to manage starting up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the benefits of only needing 2 hours of sleep a day could be very productive, but you're basically like walking on like the edge of your sleep cycle, right? You're basically saying if there's an emergency or I miss an alarm, then I'm going to be feeling groggy for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I guess that counts as doing something dangerous, though, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So funny story. If we're talking about another telonym, I have one that I know you have answered because you've talked about it on in my chat. It is. Let me make sure that I'm in the right text box here. What would you do if you didn't have to take anyone into consideration? Question mark. Just to make this fit into that text box there. We're up.
Looks good.
Make sure I spell things correctly. What would you do if you didn't have to take anything into consideration? And you talked about how this was a hard question for you.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for my answer. I don't remember what I said. Why is my character pouting? Hold on.
I thought you were just focusing on,
Sorry.
On the search. I would say, for me, I have a theory. So, I often have theories. I think that there's this popular saying that humans wouldn't be able to handle immortality, right? Like, without the fear of death, we would collapse, right? We would just all be lazy and never get anything done. Right?
Oh, I agree.
I don't think that's true. And my exhibit A is teenagers. Teenagers don't think they're going to die, and yet they still all have like hopes and dreams and rivalries and cliques and beliefs and all this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think that because humans are social, even if we lived forever, there would always be this sense of other people are different than me. Other people are spending their time on other things than me, right? Even if we live so long that like everybody can play piano like a master because everybody has spent like years and years playing piano because we all are immortal, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Even then, there will be people who find joy in playing the piano. And there will be people who become masters of the piano and then stop, right?
Absolutely.
There will be people who never wanted to play the piano, right? And then there will be people who just want to play more and more complex things, and there will be people who want to play more and more heartfelt things. There are people who want to express more, right? I think that the idea that we would have nothing to do if we were immortal is kind of a bleak view of humanity, right? It's basically saying that because our time is limited is the only reason that we are making the most of it, right? When I would say,
Yeah, I see.
yeah, I would say that, like, think about like your average dinner, right? You cook up a food. The food will last maybe an hour at most, right? Before it is gone, before
Yeah.
all you have is the memory of the food. But even so, you kind of want that food to taste good. You want it to be something that you like. You want it to be part of your overall experience, right?
Yeah.
So you put some effort into it. Even though it is short-lived, even though it is gone so quickly. Like, can you remember every dinner you've had? Even the memories fade, right?
Yeah. I have a horrible memory.
I mean, honestly, same. But I think that even if you had all the time in the world to make this food, and even if it was like the only meal you ever made, like if humans only needed one meal to survive, right? You live your life from birth, and at some point you get hungry, and then you eat a meal, and then you can live the rest of your life, right? You would still want that meal to be important, right? You would still want that meal to be good, right? Maybe even more important.
Well, yeah, especially if it's like your one time.
Mm-hmm. And I think that whether you do something for like a limited amount of time or for a lot of time forever, you want it to be for you. You want it to be something you like. You want it to be, you know, good in your opinion. And your opinion is like not something that immortality would change, I don't think. In Interview with a Vampire, they talk to all these vampires, and some of them are kind of like depressed, essentially.
Yeah.
Interview.
Great movie, by the way.
Yes. Metaphor for depression, the movie. But they all have kind of something that they're carrying on for, right? Otherwise, you know, you just step into the sunlight, right? They all have something that they are hoping for. And being immortal doesn't change that. It just changes kind of how much your standards are, right? You're not just looking for a relationship, you're looking for the love of your life, right? You're not just looking for you know, a good song to listen to. You're looking for the most exquisite music that you could listen to forever, right? If you only had to eat one meal, you'd make it a really good one. If you planning on living forever, then you're going to be looking for the stuff that is most resonant with you, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you could just spend a year trying every single career, right? Eventually you'd find something that really, 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 really mattered to you.
That sounds like the dream.
Yeah. I feel like that's part of the reason why if I ever had superpowers, I would want like time manipulation powers. Just pause everything and go like wander the world and be a chef and be a professional athlete and like train up to all these things and try them all out, right?
Just try everything, yeah.
So I almost feel like it's a similar question. Like, if you were immortal, if you were alone, if you didn't have to take anyone into consideration, what would you do, right?
I feel like it almost comes down to it would be lonely after a while.
Yeah. If I didn't have to take anyone into consideration, I wouldn't have anyone, so I'd be lonely.
Yeah, kinda.
But yeah, I think if I didn't have to take anyone into consideration, then I would want to try to do the travel the world thing.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically, like, if I can do this entire journey without taking people into consideration, what I would want to do is go to places and kind of apprentice myself or integrate myself into a local restaurant, right? And I don't have to take them into consideration because of the prompt.
Yeah.
So I would just join the restaurant, and then I would eat and survive at the restaurant in exchange for working there. And I would just kind of like be able to experience this entire culture by working and living and being a part of this community, all while providing service to the community, right?
Yeah. I feel like if I didn't have to take anyone into consideration, me and Huffle would have probably moved by now.
Oh yeah. Where do you
Yeah.
where do you want to live eventually?
We want to live in Montreal.
Oh yeah, the big city.
Yeah.
You've got to
We both speak French.
You've got to become a cool city girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have awful stuff in our city.
One thing that I found out when I moved to Berlin is that I was not ready for big city life in terms of fashion.
Oh.
Yeah, like in the suburbs, it's pretty much you're either in work clothes or you're wearing a t-shirt and like jeans or khaki shorts, right?
Yeah.
Pretty casual, right? But in the city, it's like you walk past people who are like super stylish or have cool hair or cool bags or cool clothes, and you're just standing there in your like t-shirt and you're like, oh. So one of our like long-term goals has been to upgrade our wardrobes with clothes that are functional, cool, and long-lasting. And so,
Do you guys have a certain brand that you shop with?
yeah, there's a store called CNA, and they have pretty good stuff. It's like more expensive, but I'm at the point in my life where I just want things to last longer. And
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of savings, so you spend it on things so you don't have to replace them as often.
Yeah. Sometimes it's more expensive to have to just replace things.
Yeah, the boot tax, right?
Yep.
If you don't buy good boots, you have to buy more boots.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of have made that similar thing a goal with my streaming. I'm not really looking to get big on stream. I'm more looking for communities where I can kind of integrate myself and be a part of it and have a good time and provide a service, right?
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I do find that I tend to wander from community to community, and it's hard to keep up with everyone. But I'm starting to get a core group of people that I really, really, really like. And one of the lessons that I've learned in life is that when you find those people, bring them with you.
It's a good lesson.
Yeah. Get married to them or date them or
Yeah.
so my best friend, who's not my wife, my wife is my best friend, but my best friend who's not my wife still lives in the States, and we have been talking about her coming to Germany, and if we can like kind of work together to make a space together for us, right?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like a duplex or like a shared apartment kind of situation where it's just me and my wife and my best friend and her wife, and it's just all good people. Yes, Zarkon.
Yeah, it's important to have like people that you're close with. Well, close in general.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, Zarkon, we have to start planning our wedding. Do you think what would you call the ceremony or stuff around like a friend, like establishing someone as like a dear and close and best friend, right? It's
Yeah, I
like
don't think there's a word for that.
it's like a friend wedding.
Yeah.
A gentleman would at least buy me dinner first. All right. I'll
Baby steps.
baby steps, right? Actually, I found a really good video just the other day on YouTube, and for my logic systems sort of brain, it was incredible because it kind of delineated something that I've felt and understood for a long time, which is these kind of layers to social closeness, social proximity. It's like she broke it down into like 6 layers, but you start with non-emotional shared topics, right?
So like food?
Yeah, food or the weather or sports teams. It's not really emotional. It's something that we all like agree on, right? And then you move into non-emotional personal topics. So not just something that we've both done, but something that I've done, right? A story from my past, or one of my preferences, or my plans, right?
Yeah.
And then you can start talking about emotional shared topics, which is kind of like the dinner no-go topics, sex and politics, sex, religion, and politics, right? They're emotional, but they're shared. So if we wanted to have a talk about like religion, it would be in a more emotional conversation, but it would still be something that we've all kind of experienced, right?
Yeah.
Or world issues or social issues, right? And then from there, you move into emotional personal topics. And after that, the 5th layer is like expressing a bond or a deeper connection with that person. And then the last layer is expressing love towards that person, right?
Yeah.
But at each layer, what she recommended is you start on that layer and you see if the other person is providing reciprocity. If they are also talking to you on that same layer. Like if you start talking about maybe some stuff that is still not emotional, but personal, like what are my plans? And the other person's like, oh, that's so cool. And they're very supportive and they say like, that's neat. I love that plan. And they say, well, here are my plans, right? They start reciprocating. Then you can assume that the bond has kind of grown and that person is interested in increasing your bond level to the next phase, right?
Yeah, but the last thing you want to do is tell someone that you're not very close with something super personal and then making it really awkward.
Right, which is why you start with non-emotional topics, right? If you say like, oh, here's my plans for this weekend, and they're like, yep, that's cool. Hey, there's a sports game this weekend. You're like, oh yeah, sports game. Okay, yeah, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
It's a good early indicator that this person isn't interested in deepening the relationship. And I think that that is such an important thing for people to learn, that not everybody has to be a friend. Not everybody's going to be a friend. You know, people have all sorts of problems in their lives, like trauma and busyness and other projects and other people, right? They can't be your friends too, not all the time. But when they want to, they can, right?
Yeah, like we shouldn't expect people to be friendly.
Yeah. You can always go back to food.
Always go back to food. Food's a good topic.
It is. It's a
because everyone has to eat.
Yeah, it's a shared non-emotional experience, right? Excuse me.
I know some people can get pretty emotional about their food takes.
True. But even then, I would say like having a strong preference is more like a personal but still non-emotional experience, right?
Yeah.
It's not too serious. But the nice thing about the system is that it gives you a good framework to test the waters, right?
Yeah.
And it's perfectly fine to have someone who you just talk about food with, or you just discuss your plans with, right? I had a lot of friends back in the States that, well, I actually have a friend right now who we don't really talk about politics because we're not that close. But we like discussing plans and random topics with each other, and it's perfectly fine. We have a sustainable relationship. You can have I think that's the thing. You can have a sustainable relationship at every single level.
Yeah, as long as you're not looking for like different levels with certain people if they're not up to that level yet.
Yeah, I had a question that's like, do you think that a guy could ever compliment a girl he doesn't know?
Depends on how the compliment is worded, I guess.
Well, see, in my mind, like, you could be successful with that, but so many things would have to align, right? The girl would have to be open to being complimented. You have to come across as genuine and non-threatening. It has to be a good compliment. Like, it can't, like, you know, if you say like your hair color is really pretty and then she's like, I hate my hair color, you know.
Yeah.
So many things have to line up. It's better to just don't do it. Don't compliment people you don't know. Rather, find something that's a shared experience that's non-emotional and talk about that, right? Don't see why it's such a task to compliment someone from the opposite sex. Seems pretty dumb. A lot of people see it's a task because they are interested in getting to a certain level of relationship with that person.
Yeah, it's like the expectation behind it, like the intent.
Yeah. I think when people grow up around others of the opposite gender, they understand that you can have friendships at every level with people of the opposite gender. And so when they make a compliment to someone, it's kind of just a level 2 thing. Like it's a personal thing, but it's not emotional, right? But I think it's better. Ulterior motives can be figured out later. I mean, yeah, pretty much. But I think it's better to just start with not just a non-emotional topic, but also a non-personal topic. Like, find someone who shares an interest with you and talk about that. Find someone who is in a similar situation as you and talk about that. Like, kind of like what we're doing here. We both have telonyms. We're both VTubers. We both have experiences with partners in life, you know?
Yeah.
We're taking our relationship to the next bond level, Kana.
Yeah.
But I think that the like I said, first off, the system is really good because it gives you a method to make sure that you don't push too far into a relationship, right?
Yeah.
But there's also other benefits to the system where by thinking about the relationships in this way, you start to see what kinds of information other people are offering, right? There are some people in my chat who I don't know them that well, but they come in and they are talking about emotional and personal things, right?
Yeah.
And to me, I don't mind. I'm pretty flexible in between the bond levels. But what that tells me is that they're looking for reciprocity. They're looking for someone who is willing to listen and share that level of emotional connection. And I can't always be that person. But when I am that person, I can be that for them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you start to like understand, you know, what other people are offering you, and you start to understand what your own offers are, right? You don't want to be the person who goes up to someone and says, "Hey, I love you. Let's go out." That's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Soon you'll be homie enough to show each other your Pokemon cards. Do you have Pokemon cards?
No, my brothers have all of my old ones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gave mine away. I sold my Magic cards too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a decent.
I hear that a lot, actually.
I had a decently sized collection, but it wasn't even the cost. It was just the weight of it.
Yeah.
I had so many cards and I was like having to move them house to house to house.
My parents were super into Magic, so grew up with cards everywhere.
Nice. Wow. Your parents must have been like there near the beginning of Magic itself, right?
Yep.
Wow. You might have some like $1,000 cards hiding in your basement.
They probably do have a ton of cards. I know they're more into Warhammer now.
How to tell me your parents are well off without telling me your parents are well off.
Right?
I'm into Warhammer. Oh. Hey, can I borrow $20?
And Warhammer is so expensive too.
I know. I was in the Warhammer club in middle school, I think. I was in the club for about a month. I didn't know how to play Warhammer, so they assigned me the orcs to play.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't know how to play. So I spent, like, it was a weekly club. I spent the first few meetings learning the basic rules, right?
Yeah.
And then the next meeting, I had my first battle. Oh, I love wholesome games. Hello, lovely people. Hello. It's been a while. How are ya? We're having a conversation. You're welcome
Yeah,
to
we're
listen
talking
in.
about Warhammer.
Warhammer, the boys. So I had my very first battle, and because the reason that I hadn't battled yet was because they were building up to their tournament, their first tournament of the year, and so everybody was like preparing for the tournament and learning their whatever, painting their minis.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get a chance to battle, but in the tournament, I was assigned to the orcs, and I borrowed an orc army from another player, and I sat down, and the person across from me was playing the Reavers. Oh, we got another Magic the Gathering player.
I feel like everyone knows Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. I actually don't play physically anymore, but I do play like every day on Arena.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm only a little addicted. But,
I like to play with very casual players, but that's about it.
oh yeah, it's a lot more fun when it's casual.
Yeah, going to tournaments kind of soured my experience with the game.
For sure, for sure. So anyway, I sit down across from the Reavers, and the person playing the Reavers is like the club captain or something like that. And he proceeds to just destroy my orc boys.
Aw.
And so I'm out of the tournament, right? I'm like, okay, now what? And they're like, well, we can only get in like a few games a meeting. So this tournament, excuse me, this tournament's going to last the rest of the month.
Oh god.
I'm like, so I don't get to play the rest of the month? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. And so I left.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Oh, you can give me codes from PAX? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, don't say no to that. That's a good deal.
There's a new set coming out in a few weeks. So, yes, please.
Yeah, my parents also have a 3D printer, a resin printer.
Oh, nice.
We're planning on getting a laser cutter soon.
Wow. Okay.
Laser printer? I'm not sure. Difference.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Like, if I get back into cosplay, I have resources at hand.
Dude, you should get into cosplay.
Cosplaying's so expensive, though. Or at least it could be.
It is. But I feel like it's one of those hobbies where you kind of like, you know, you work a long time on one big project, right?
Oh yeah.
And then when you go out, you kind of figure out how to monetize that project so you can pay for your next big project.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do with music. I'm trying to get to the point where I have big project that I can do a big release on.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that lets me buy some stuff for the next project and the next project. Oh yeah, I remember one of the. Sorry, I remember one of the first streams I saw of I Love Wholesome Games was actually a jewelry making stream.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that you can do so many different things on Twitch now.
It is super cool. I mean, there are some people in chat like the Zarkon who are not a big fan of like the big name VTubers. But I think it's so cool that we kind of have this big cultural force that as people like come up with new ideas like hand cams or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This big cultural force can take the idea and kind of spread it, right? What is this music, by the way? Next track, please. People talk about like, oh yeah, I only like indie VTubers, or it's like it's hard if you're not with an agency, right?
Yeah, I see that all over Twitter all the time.
And it's true. It's very true. But I think the thing that people don't quite reason out is that agencies always happen. Once you hit a critical mass of whatever in your art or whatever, there will always be someone who wants to get a group together and turn it into a bigger thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, if one person can sustain themselves on streaming, there's no reason why a group of people couldn't sustain themselves and use the extra money to like promote themselves and stuff like that together, right?
Yeah.
It's an inevitability. But the cool part about it is that it's a sign that the art form is healthy, right? It's a sign.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, if the big VTubers do good, then more people are exposed to VTubing, and the indie VTubers do good, right? I think I dropped a frame or two there. Do I still have you?
Yeah, you're still here.
Okay, cool.
Everything's still good?
Yeah. I think we should find someone to raid soon, though. It's been 3 hours.
Oh, good idea. I didn't even notice.
And also, I've been battling a nosebleed for the past 10 minutes.
Oh, no. Are you okay?
Yeah, it just happens. This is like the driest time of year.
Yeah.
So I have, so I am told, I have prominent blood vessels in my nose.
Congratulations.
I know, right? Like, sometimes doctors tell you things and you're just like, yeah, okay.
All right.
But it does mean that I have more of a susceptibility to nosebleeds.
Oh.
Especially in dry weather like this.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up the stream here.
Sounds good.
And
well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I like these kind of just chatting streams. It always nice to have someone to talk to and stuff to talk about. And I hope that you are feeling better.
Yeah, me too.
Comfy little time, just some chits and chats.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Also, it is Sunday, so we're going to raid someone I've never raided before.
Do you need someone?
If you have a suggestion, I would love to take it.
They are currently live.
Lowly Wooly?
Yes.
Ooh, and it's their birthday. Oh, how lovely. Okay. Let me just open up that stream. Very cool. All right, and I'm gonna follow so I can make sure that I can probably.
They're usually
raid.
VTubing.
Yeah, I see the VTuber model. Interesting. All right. Well, I think that is where we'll stop the stream. Thank you everyone for joining and chatting, and thank you Kana for joining and chatting.
Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go onto Telenym and actually post these telonyms.
I know I need to answer mine now.
But thank you everyone for joining. Let's go raid, and make sure to post the raid message in the chat. And copy that stuff, and let's go. Transition. Transition out.